Is this really happening? Is this really happening? Are the wheels coming off? Is Arteta starting to crack? Let it all work out. Let it all work out. Yo, it's your boy Manny on Designated Hotspur. Welcome to my channel. As per usual, please smash the likes, subscribe, hype, do all the things you need to do. This is a bit of a different one because it's got nothing to do with Spurs, even though as a Spurs fan, I am praying for things to go the way I think they seem to be going. But yeah, Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3. It sent shockwaves across the Premier League world at the moment. Absolutely incredible game. Really, really, really tactical. Not a lot of, even though the game ended with 5 goals, I personally don't feel like there were, chances galore in this. But the question on everyone's minds is, could this really happen once again? Could it really happen? Arsenal and Arteta have finished second 3 times in a row for the last 3 years. And this season, it just looked like they had got the right formula. You have to be honest. You have to be honest. This Arsenal team that has been assembled is incredible. Incredible in terms of personnel. I was actually taking a look at the team that they had today, right? And they started with David Raya in goal, Saliba and Gabriel pairing, Hincapié at left back, Timber at right back, Martin Odegaard, the conductor, Zubamendi in the 6, Rice in the 8, Trossard at left wing, Gabriel Jesus up top, and Bukayo Saka on the right. But that's not the main thing. If you then look at the bench that they have, guys, listen to this: Ben White, Mikel Merino, Eberechi Eze, Victor Gyökeres, Madueke, Mosquera, Martinelli, Lewis Skelly, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Like they have the strongest squad in the Premier League, if not in Europe. You have to be honest. Their squad is potent. They've literally meticulously brought in quality after quality after quality. And no wonder they're in this situation. No wonder they're in a position where they're trying their best to run away with the league. They're currently 4 points ahead of their rivals. 7 points before the game started. Not before the game started. 7 points before the week started, because obviously City also won on Saturday. But it was getting worrying. And if regardless of whether I'm a Spurs fan or not, if you're to be really truthful, their team is many teams would want to be Arsenal right now, because not only have they got the squad, but when you actually watch the way they play, they actually win by playing well, and actually win when they're not playing well, with the ace up the sleeve that they've developed in the corner kicks, corner FC, set piece again, ole ole. They have really mastered the way to get their job done. So that begs the question, why are they not in a better position? Because if I look at the form of Man City, who's the closest, well, no disrespect to Aston Villa, but in my opinion, the most realistic team that can actually challenge Arsenal is actually Man City and Pep, because they've been there before. They've also got an incredible squad. But Man City's form, listen to this, guys. The form was draw, lose, win. That is the form in the last 5 games. Draw, lose, win. Arteta has no excuses. This is where the likes of Lee Gunner, the likes of Dan Potts, all these fans who have been calling out on Arteta, this is where Arteta gives them credence, because you start thinking, hold on a second, you've got a Man City team that is not firing on all fronts, right? And you've got an Arsenal team that has a stacked team, for like a 22-man squad that literally their bench 11, probably 80 or 90% of the bench 11 gets into our team. So it begs the question, is he going to be the guy who prevents them from actually winning this? You have to ask. It's imperative. It's imperative that you ask these questions, because it's second. And if these lot finish second one more time, I think the online world will implode. There will be a meltdown of the ages. But in relation to the game, we have to give props to the team they played. Manchester United, absolute props to that team. Props to Michael Carrick, who is disbanding this notion that managers can't do anything to affect the team, even when the team is not the team that they want. Because Amorim, that fraud, had every Manchester United team fan believe that those players were not good enough. Now Carrick has got Dorgu playing like Bale. He's got Mbeumo up front, absolute genius, right? Because you want the players that actually are good in front of goal. You want them closest to the goal as possible, right? And then he's got Ahmad on the right and Bruno Fernandes closer to goal. Who would have thought that Bruno Fernandes should be playing in a 10? That's his position. Instead, Amorim had him playing as an 8, makeshift a 6, as far away from the goal as possible. This is why I keep saying some of these managers, Amorim, Thomas Frank, these managers should... I was about to say something that maybe might have got me stricken off YouTube, so I'm not going to say it. But props to Manchester United. That first half was a very, very tactical game, in the sense of Manchester United allowed Arsenal to have as much of the ball as possible and tried to hit them on a counter and in transition. A few times, Mbeumo got put through on goal, and Dorgu as well. And in reality, I think Mbeumo should have buried at least one of them, one of the chances that he got. But then Arsenal went up in front. And was it an own goal? I think it was an own goal, if I'm trying to remember things a bit more clearly. Um, yeah, I think it was an own goal. I think it was, unless they've given the goal back to Timber. I think it was an own goal, and yeah, they probed, Arsenal probed, but then Manchester United did not let that get to them. And that's where the mentality comes into play with regards to these games. The mentality was clear and evident for everyone to see. And in the first half, Arsenal had 56% of the possession to United's 44%. But as I was saying with regards to the chances created, XG for Arsenal was 0.56 and XG for United was 0.38. So really and truly, there wasn't much to it. There wasn't much to the game. It was very cagey with United trying to hit Arsenal on the transition, and Arsenal trying to probe, and they got loads of corners actually in the first half. In the second half, however, it seems like Carrick's team talk, it seems like it worked a treat. It seems like it worked a treat, because what happened was that they then started to get more on the ball. They started to pass the ball more. They started to play some intricate passings, passing through the channels, and actually put some pressure on Arsenal. And Arsenal had no answer. They had no answer. They again, my mind is literally just all over the place in terms of the game because of how excited I am with regards to it. But it seems to me that the goals, let me just double check to make sure that I wasn't just dreaming with regards to things. But there we go. This is what I was looking for. Yep. So, yeah, I was right. So the first half ended 1-1. And then in the second half, in the 50th minute, Dorgu with the screamer. And I know VAR tried to chalk that off. And how glad I am that didn't happen, because that was wonderful. Beautiful play, intricate play between him and Fernandez. And then he let one rip on the pitch. Absolutely nothing David Raya could have done with regards to that goal. And then here came the changes. So Arteta made 4 substitutions all at the same time. So he took off Ben White, he took off Hincapié, Jesus, Odegaard, and Zubamendi, and brought on Ben White, Gyökeres, Merino, and Eze. And that actually paid off. It actually paid off, because Merino, who was his substitute in the 84th minute, came on and jammy goal. You take them all as they are, but that was a jammy goal at the highest order. And it made it 2-2, and at that point I was thinking, they let it slip. And these lot, with how jammy they are going to go on and actually win. But no. Here comes on Cunha. And Cunha absolutely a beautiful goal. Beautiful finish. Pushing to start, because the past few games, ever since Carrick came, Cunha hasn't really started. I can't remember where he started his first game. But Cunha hasn't. I think Cunha started the first game, but hasn't started the following 2 against United, against Arsenal and City. But what a goal from Matheus Cunha, and it probably for Carrick it's come at the right time, because I think Dorgu went down with an hamstring, so he is not coming back probably anytime soon. Probably a month he's gonna be out for. So. Wonderful game. Big up to Michael Carrick. Absolutely. He's seen this opportunity as an interim, and he's really taken it by the scruff of the neck. And he's making it work. And that timing of their loss was absolutely wonderful,
because City played. Who did they play on the weekend? City played Wolves at home. Foden didn't start. Foden didn't start. Haaland didn't start. Mamouche started, and it was more fluid. I have to say, it was more fluid, and the Pep and team run away with a 2-0 win, with goals from Mamouche, who was on to replace Haaland, and Antoine Semenyo. And I was ecstatic with that, because that puts pressure. It puts absolute pressure on Arsenal. And it begs the question, what are you made of, Arteta? Arsenal players, what is your mentality like? Can you withstand this pressure? Can you withstand it? Because this City is not the same City as of old. I have to say, it's not. So, is Arteta going to bottle this? Is he going to bottle this? Or is he going to be able to make this work? That is going to be interesting. That is going to be the interesting thing. In other news as well, Aston Villa also beat Newcastle, and that game was end to end. Absolutely wonderful game. They beat Newcastle 2-0. Obviously, Newcastle didn't have Bruno Guimaraes, which would have probably impacted them in a negative way that they couldn't deal with. Newcastle are a bit of a funny and interesting team at the moment, because they have the richest owners in the Premier League. The Saudis, they have the richest owners in the Premier League. However, it doesn't look like they are strengthening the team in the way that they should. It doesn't feel like they have a plan. It doesn't feel like it feels like they're reactionary all the time, with Voltemada. Again, decent player, but he was massively overpriced because of how desperate they were. And is he an Eddie Howe player? He's not an Eddie Howe player, in my opinion. He's not. He's not an Eddie Howe player, because Eddie Howe doesn't even play him, because he wants people that can run, people that can get in behind, people that can chase and press. And Voltemada is not the player. Hence why he's playing Wissa. But where is the ownership? Why are they not intervening? Why are they not helping? Where is the ambition? When they took over, Newcastle, a lot of Newcastle fans felt that was a game changer, from the perspective of they thought that they'll be challenging by now, shall I say. How long have the owners been in charge? 3 years? 4 years? They thought they probably would have been challenging by now, because I remember that I'm watching an interview by Amanda Stavely saying that she expected them to be challenging for the title winning the title in 5 years. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. And I'm wondering whether Eddie Howe is starting to think, am I being sold a dream here? So, yeah, big up to Unai Emery again, another manager who's coaching. Another manager who's coaching. Another manager who took over an Aston Villa team that were fighting for relegation, and then propped them up the table before getting more players that he needed. Another manager that actually coaches. So yeah, guys, this is my weekend roundup of the title race. I think I'm going to bring this over to you guys once a week so they can know my thoughts about it. But again, regardless of what team you support, please smash the like, please subscribe, and again, what Arteta, Arsenal fans, what are you made of? Are you going to win this title? Do you think Arteta is the guy to take you to that promised land? Listen, Let me know in the comment section.